Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Guess what I just got finished reading? It's in the title, Death of Hawkman, Part 2 of 6. Now, the planet Ran, where Adam Strange typically goes back and forth between there and Earth. He goes to Ran to be a superhero and back to Earth to be a normal, which he hates. And they did a great job of explaining that last issue. Well, at the end of last issue, there were several suicide bombers that apparently came from Thanagar. Now, Ran is an ultra-pacifistic planet, which is kind of why they needed an off-world hero to play hero. They're not pacifistic anymore. The whole planet, for the most part, seems to be up in arms. Protests, demonstrations, rallies, almost to the point of rioting. And they're screaming for blood. Blood of the Thanagarians. They want this extremely warlike planet to just be shut down. They want to kill. It seems to me like every Thanagarian out there, they want to teach them a lesson. They want retribution. They want blood. Now, Alana's father was one of the victims in these attacks. And mind you, Alana is the wife to Adam Strange. She's not taking this well at all. While in the last episode they showed her extremely love-struck and, oh, my darling Adam Strange, here she's being really contrite with him. And this is great. The social commentary in this is fantastic. And sometimes that's just what you got to do. You got to completely remove yourself from the situation. Here, DC removed the situation from ourselves. This is happening on a different planet. A planet that's had a war with Thanagar. I mean, here's these two races of beings fighting each other. And it's a shame. But it's also really cool that they make them both look just like each other and look like us. So it's a really good way to look at this. Each kind of looks at the other as evil. Here it is, the very pacifistic planet Ran, and they got people who want to kill the Thanagarians now because, hey, they've always done this stuff in the past, so why should we not believe it was them? We saw them with our own eyes. And Adam Strange is being extremely cool here, even though his wife is snapping at him, and she's even making many derogatory comments toward her husband, stating plainly, "You're not Iranian." So we're seeing some big tensions here, and obviously he's giving her excuses, and yes, she deserves certain excuses. At the same time, it also makes you wonder, does she have this in her heart? Did she ever have this the whole time or not? And it's scary. It's a shame. Guys, this is a great social commentary, and you get to see people who are otherwise pacifistic break down and just want to murder people. And it actually takes the off-worlder, the earthling, the human, Adam Strange, in order to see that there's something wrong here. It's funny that all of the bodies of these so-called Thanagarians are completely disfigured. And, yeah, obviously because they were in the explosion. But there was also radiation there that alter their DNA, so we can't even take DNA samples. There's no way to prove that these were Thanagarians, and it just seems weird. What's more is you said that you saw wingmen. Well, we've got images, static images, of people leaving, of this guy particularly leaving, who was imitating Adam Strange. Some of the other guards who respect Adam Strange greatly are like, "What are you doing here? I just saw you over there." And what? And he goes to the teleportation chamber where this guy apparently went, and he disappears. He's got some residual scans, and he sees that the guy doesn't have wings. So this is obviously somebody who's involved, who was trying to act like him, but he's trying to act like the Thanagarians, and it's a big rigmarole. And man, read this comic. Guys, however good last month's Death of Hawkman was, this month really beats it. This, I feel, is what comics are supposed to be. They don't always have to follow this kind of storyline. They don't always have to have the harsh part of social commentary. But this is grounded in our reality, with people with wings and zeta beams and lasers and stuff like that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, this is one of those kinds of comics that you can get into and you can relate to. The idea of hating your invisible enemy, an enemy who you've seen once in a while, but you don't really know anything about him or her, but you just label them the bad guy because it's just so much easier. It's just so much easier to say, yeah, that looks like the bad guy. I want justice so I can have closure. But justice doesn't always mean what's fair. And they're so quick to jump the gun and put the blame on these people just because of what their eyes think they saw. The only problem I have with this comic is that there's a part in here where they mention that Hawkman is supposed to have a super fast healing factor. I don't know about super fast, but hey, maybe it increased because of the nth metal. But at the end of the day, he's saying that he doesn't seem to have the healing factor. He's indicating that. And the bleeding is also showing a lot of that also. But if he doesn't have his healing factor anymore, although he does seem to have the nth metal, here's my question. Why? Did they explain it in another issue someplace and I just missed it? Here's the deal. I'm new to this, and if I'm jumping on here, this is one of the things that annoys me. So while I want to go in the A category, that one thing alone, as good as this comic was, I got to put this in the B plus category. It's a B plus. Hey, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. But if that one thing wasn't there, this would have easily been a smooth A minus, because this was, aside from that one little thing, which call it a pet peeve, whatever you want, but that irks me. But this was a fantastic comic, and I highly recommend trying to find issue 1 and then grabbing issue 2, which is out this week. Hey, worst case scenario, fine, wait for the trade paperback. That wouldn't be a bad thing. But either way, this is a comic that needs to be read. Guys, this is Professor Bill at Comic Book University. You too can attend Comic Book University simply by subscribing below. Tuition free. Class dismissed.